The impetus for the rise of AI from big data started with the difficult and overwhelming task of data analysis, a task that would often frustrate business leaders right from the start. In fact, analysis of data has to take place in every single business function, from sales to marketing to operations. Well, in today's episode, we speak to Anirudh Narayan, more affectionately known as Ani, who hails from a long career in performance and digital marketing and sales. Ani is the co-founder and CEO of Lyzr, a company that offers full-stack agents for a no hidden cost basis, enabling BFSI clients to autonomously market to and engage their customers or sell their solutions seamlessly. Ani's background in understanding brands and how to amplify their presence, leading for attraction rather than pursuit, through his background as an AI entrepreneur and also as an agency owner, has enabled him to build Lyzr. And he's continuing to transform the way financial services organizations acquire clients while being compliant with data protection policies. Oh my God, Ani, it's so good to have you on our show today.
And thank you so much for having me.
Great. Let's dive right in. Tell me a little more about your background and how you and your co-founder Shiva met and decided to start the company Lyzr.
Yeah, for sure. So actually, just to give you context, we are a global company. So Shiva's in the US, based out of New York. I'm here in India. We're a team of 40. Predominantly a lot of folks in India, but like obviously our sales and our growth engine kind of comes from the US as of today. I graduated in 2008, finished my engineering in biotech, so massive pivots since then. But my first job, like most Indians, we get into coding. So Shiva and I met at Tesco. So Tesco is this retail chain based in the UK, and we were both essentially doing some form of coding there. And I remember Shiva was selling T-shirts. So that's how, and that was his side hustle at that point. But we've been on and off, and I think my journey ever since 2008 has been a lot around startups. I spent a good 3 years working with a company called Crossover. Post that, which is actually a company in the US, which is more on breaking down film, and we would do any form of video analysis for like basketball coaches in the US. But post that, I did my master's at Columbia. I spent 5 years in the US working with Shutterstock and Lean Startup Machine. And then ever since being in the US, I started my own consulting business in 2016. And then I've been part of two entrepreneurial ventures. One is Everything AI, which is like an AI tooling marketplace. And before that was Master Life and the agency. But in terms of Shiva and me over the last 15 years, like one of my very good friends who I played basketball with growing up, he was Shiva's co-founder at his previous startup. So I've kind of been in sync with what Shiva's been up to. And then I remember he created content for us at Master Life. We've been going back and forth in the last, like, I would say last 4 or 5 years. And then when I was running Everything AI, I realized that I needed to partner with someone who's supremely technical. Because you can bring the marketing chops, but I think like especially with AI, it helps to someone who truly gets AI infra. So I reached out to him last year, and then we figured out a way that we could work together, and we've been working together ever since.
That's amazing. Well, there is a proliferation of AI solutions globally. Most organizations spend more time building rather than actually training models or analyzing data. So, how does Lyzr help overcome these challenges?
I think the number one challenge today is not so much about which model to use. I think most models are kind of hitting one point where they all are very similar in performance, especially OpenAI, Anthropic, obviously you have Gemini, and then you have Llama, and also the Mistrals of the world. So like all of them are kind of converging to a point. I think where we are seeing a lot of activity is okay. Now, how do I use these models and you add my context of data to create extremely accurate results? So you're seeing a lot of players kind of play in the space of, okay, how do I make sure the data that's being powered by an LLM is structured? Because a lot of data that's available in enterprise is highly unstructured. There are players like us, which are helping companies accelerate the adoption of AI. Because adopting AI isn't just about, hey, I have this application, I need to power with an LLM, but like I needed to have short-term memory. The prompts need to be on point. Like I need to connect to a bunch of tools. So like you kind of bring the whole ecosystem together for automating workflows. So we are kind of in the space of there's a lot of these agent builders, if you want to call it, but we are in the space where we offer a platform or an architectural framework to help you build AI agents.
That's amazing. And Ani, here's the elephant in the room. So this term, agentic AI, seems to have caught on as the latest buzzword. How are you different from all the Me Too's in the room with Lyzr?
Good question. I think with any movement, what happens is almost everybody ends up attaching AI to their solution. Like I obviously with blockchain, what happened was everyone was like, hey, our tech is blockchain powered. Oh, we have a coin and we have a wallet, right? So like I think that becomes pretty common. I think with the way to think about us is we're a low code platform to help you build AI agents. There are lots of very interesting players in the space. There are players which are like, let's say, like LangChain and Crew AI that are highly customizable, perfect for developers. I think our focus is more CIOs and like let's say product managers, Gen AI heads who want to build out MVPs and POCs quickly. And I think the beauty of the platform is you don't need to know much coding. Literally, like you and me could build out agents in like 5 minutes. So I think the ability to build out agents supreme quickly, I think is number one. Second is I think the way to think about agent frameworks, agent builders. I would say we're the first truest platform for enterprises because we have at the agentic level a lot of the modules which are very focused towards AI safety and responsible AI. So the developers don't have to worry about, oh my god, every module or every agent needs to be enterprise ready. I think a lot of our framework takes care of that. Thirdly, I think we have a lot of pre-built super agents, if you want to call it, for functions as well as for the industry. So, and like if you wanted to finally become AI powered, you care about the use case. You care about the outcome. Like, hey, I want you to automate my sales versus I don't care so much maybe about the building blocks. So we offer a lot of these pre-built super agents for sales, for marketing. Now we're moving into insurance and banking and financial services. So I would say at the end of the day, if you want to accelerate your adoption of AI, I think Lyzr is a sweet spot maybe.
That's amazing. In our pre-call, you mentioned something about your pricing model. Let's talk a little bit about that. So most solutions in the market are utility based or pay as you use. How did you decide that you wanted to come up with a no hidden fee model?
So I think there are two parts to this. There is the pre-built super agents like Jason, Scott, Diane, which are for sales, marketing, and HR. If you look at actually the pricing models today are changing considerably, right? Like with SaaS, it is pay per user, it's a flat fee. But I think with agentic model, it's almost moving to usage model. Synthesia, I think, has like pay per video created. I think Microsoft has these co-pilots which you pay by the hour or per, and I think a lot of platforms also pay per outcome. I think what we realized is a lot of our players at scale. Let's take Jason for example, which is our AI sales agent. Like at scale, it starts becoming pretty expensive. Where if you have multiple users using it running campaigns, that can become $7,000 to $10,000 a month. So I think what we are trying to do is can we democratize access to these sales agents and keep the pricing simple, right? So if it was 1,999, you could essentially do unlimited campaigns. You would pay essentially. A lot of these folks are like paying per emails. Ours is not paying per email. So I think it, and I think with what's happening with AI is I think companies are a little worried about, oh, I have to pay for hosting, I have to pay for LLMs, I have to pay for vector databases. So like, my God, like suddenly this whole suite becomes, I wouldn't say a black box, but it starts becoming expensive to essentially run and deploy AI agents. So I think keeping it simple, I think keeping it flat, I think is been attractive so far in the market. So we'll see how that evolves. I'm not saying we won't do per usage. That's most probably possible, but as of now, we're a flat price.
That's great. I'm really excited about the agentic AI models. What's your ultimate goal for Lyzr? Why do you think this is the future of agentic AI?
I think our mission at the end of the day is organizational general intelligence. And what does that mean? I would imagine a future where, let's say, if Anne is running a company and she speaks to an agent, which is, let's say, a super agent, and then you're like, let's say the super agent has a name like Jarvis, and you're like, hey, Jarvis, like, tell me what's happening in sales, tell me what's happening in product, right? And you're able to essentially run an agent workforce completely, which could essentially align with Sam Altman's kind of future prediction of you could have a one-person billion-dollar company, right? So, if you had to think about the evolution of that today, I would say in 2022 when ChatGPT came out, a lot of the first use cases were chat agents, right? Because they're like, hey, can you build a private version of this? Now, in 2024, it's evolving into workflow automation. What will happen after some time, which I think we are trying to work towards, is how can all these agents communicate with each other, right? And imagine if they're able to communicate. You have an AI product agent, you have a marketing agent. Let's say you're a customer success agent that was part of a conversation with a customer along with a human. That information is summarized and passed to the product manager or the product manager agent, and then that's passed on to the marketing agent. So you could have priorities created quickly, you could have collateral created quickly by the agent. So the next step will be all of them communicating with each other, and then you'll have the next step, which is massive productivity gains with a complex network of agents creating, let's say, content, creating breakthroughs, finishing task views. So I think we want to empower that. We want to be the platform that does that for companies while being 100%, caring about 100% data privacy. And we'll see where the platform evolves to.
That's amazing. Well, Ani, that's all the time that we have for our show today. Thank you for joining us in this show. I cannot wait to see how you move the needle in the BFSI industry with Lyzr. To all of our listeners and subscribers on Spotify, YouTube, and LinkedIn, your support is so valuable to us. Please remember, you gotta like, share, and follow us. It helps us a lot more than you ever know. Once again, my name is Anne. I am from Supercharge Lab, your host on behalf of the AI Partnerships Core, and I've been speaking with Anirudh Narayan at Lyzr. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you for having me.